$80,000, 72 months, 7.9%. At 35, it's worth $14,000. This video isn't about regret. The 25-year-old at the dealership wasn't wrong about the car. They were wrong about the cadence the car started. 2 parking lots, 2 mornings at 35. By the end of this video, you'll know which one of them you're standing in right now, and the autopay line on your bank statement that's deciding it. Start with the actual numbers, because the actual numbers don't argue with you. An $80,000 performance coupe, a 72-month loan, 7.9% annual interest. The monthly payment lands at about $1,400. Multiply across the 6-year term, and the total you pay back is right around $100,000. Add insurance, call it $3,000 a year for a vehicle in that class. Add maintenance, call it $1,500. Add the premium fuel difference against a normal commuter car, call it $600. Over the first 10 years of ownership, you spent somewhere close to $150,000 on that single car. At year 10, the car is worth $14,000. What's the actual cost of the car then? Not $80,000. The actual cost is what came in minus what's left, somewhere around $136,000 over a decade. That's the line that goes on the asset sheet, if you're honest about it. The $80,000 sticker was just the headline. The depreciation isn't an accident. Edmunds publishes the curve every year. For a performance vehicle in the $70,000 to $90,000 range, the typical decay is around 30% in the first 2 years, 50% by year 5, 70% by year 7, and somewhere north of 80% by year 10. The $80,000 sticker becomes a $14,000 used listing not because the car got worse, the car got older. The market moved past it. The next year's model has a better infotainment screen and an extra 2 horsepower in the brochure. You can pull the chart up on your phone right now. Edmunds keeps it free. It's an annual report. The shape doesn't move. You already know what the line does. You just haven't connected it to the auto pay you're paying every month. Why is the depreciation so steep on this class of cars specifically? Because the market for them is shallow at 5 years old. Anyone willing to spend $40,000 on a used performance coupe is also willing to spend $50,000 for a newer one with a warranty. The used buyer for your car is somebody who wanted the car but didn't want to be the one to buy it new. They're waiting for the price to fall. That's the entire trade. This is easy to verify. Takes 30 seconds. Edmunds keeps the chart on their site. Anybody standing in the dealership lot at 25 could pull it up on the phone before signing the paperwork. Almost nobody does. The alternative isn't subtle either. Vanguard publishes 30-year return data on the S&P 500. Long-run nominal rate is somewhere around 10%. Real return after inflation is closer to 7%. Take that same $1,400 autopay you set up for the car. Route it into a total market index fund instead. Set it on the same Saturday. Don't touch it for a decade. What does that account do year by year? Year 1, nothing dramatic. About 18,000 in, maybe 19 with the rate working. Year 3, 63,000. You can see it now. Year 5, about 115. Year 7, 170. Year 10, somewhere around 265,000 at a conservative net return. Same input, same Saturday, same paycheck. One path ends with a $14,000 car, the other ends with a $265,000 portfolio. The spread between them, about $250,000, is what the autopay quietly decided on a Saturday in March, 10 years before the asset sheet got drawn up. This isn't the part of the video where I tell you the 25-year-old shouldn't have bought the car. The 25-year-old wanted the car. They'd wanted it since they were 17. They got the job that paid them enough to afford the monthly. They walked into the dealership on a Saturday in March, looked at the salesperson across the desk, and signed the paperwork. The car wasn't the problem. The car was a thing money can buy. The problem was the second decision that happened 7 days later, the one that didn't feel like a decision at all. The auto pay got set up. $1,400 a month, every month, for 72 months. That number was now locked in. And because it was locked in, it stopped being a question. The 25-year-old didn't go to the dealership ever again. The autopay went for them. Every month. For 6 years. Then 6 more years of a slightly smaller line. Because by then, there was a different car. A trade-in, a lease, a second loan on top of the residual. That's the cadence. Work it backward. The 25-year-old didn't make a wrong call about the car. They made a wrong call about the cadence the car was about to start. The honest version of this, the one I don't usually say out loud, is that I think the car was probably worth what they paid for it. They liked it. They drove it on weekends. They got the smell of new leather every morning for the first 18 months. That's a real thing money can buy. The part that wasn't worth it was the next decade of not noticing that the car was the only thing they were buying with that paycheck. If you're listening to this and you have an autopay on a vehicle right now, pull it up on your phone, find a line, what's the monthly, multiply it by 72 if you're on a typical loan, that's what's locked in. What's the second autopay on the same statement? If there isn't one, that's the answer to why 35 looks the way it does. I had a coworker once who picked up an M4 in 2015. He was 27. I sat in the passenger seat once in the parking garage of a building neither of us works at anymore. The interior smelled new. He told me he'd been waiting for the car since he was 16. 6 years later, he sold it for $19,000. Put the money toward the down payment on a house, then refinanced the mortgage twice in the next 3 years because the rate moved. I don't think he regrets the car. I think he regrets that the car was the only investment decision he made between 25 and 35. If this is your first time at NetSum, one thing to be honest about, this channel doesn't run on motivation. It runs on the sum, the spread, and what the room actually looks like at 35. If that's the tone you came for, subscribing here just means keep the count going. Here's the part that doesn't get written down anywhere. The first wealth management consultation a 35-year-old walks into, the one where they're trying to understand why they don't feel ahead, the second line on the asset sheet, almost without fail, is an auto loan balance. The first line is the student debt that survived. The second line is the car they're driving today, which is almost never the car from the dealership at 25. That car got sold or traded in years ago. The line is for the next car, and the one after that. That's the pattern. 5 or 6 years between trades, always a new monthly, always 72 months out. Always within the budget for that year's salary. By 35, the original car is gone, but the autopay has been alive the entire time. Why does the trade keep happening on that cadence? Because the warranty runs out, because the maintenance bills start to compound, because the new model in the brochure has the upgraded screen, because the dealership emails you the day you become eligible for a new lease. None of those reasons feel like a decision when you're inside them. Each one feels like the obvious next step. That's the number that makes the difference, not the $80,000 for the original car, the $1,400 autopay that never turned off. It just kept renewing itself with a different vehicle attached. This is where the logic turns. The opportunity cost of a $1,400 monthly payment compounds the same way the principal of an index account compounds. Every month you don't put it somewhere it grows, it stays still. Every month you put it on a vehicle, the vehicle takes its share, and the next month's payment is the same amount you started with, locked. The vehicle gets older, the monthly doesn't. What does that mean in practice? It means the autopay is the actual decision. The car is the cosmetic part. The autopay is the part that compounds in one direction or the other for the next 10 years of your working life. And while we're being honest about the advice that usually gets given to 25-year-olds, most of it is wrong about the variable. Don't buy the car, don't lease, save instead. None of that lands because the 25-year-old isn't asking permission about the car. They're going to get the car. The thing nobody tells them is what the second autopay is supposed to do, because the one after the car payment is the one that decides whether the asset sheet at 35 has only one number on it or two. So what's the call? If you're going to set up the monthly on a vehicle, set up a second monthly on the same Saturday. Smaller, same automation, same paid without thinking pattern. $100 every Friday into a total market index fund. $200, $500. The amount isn't the point, the cadence is the point. You're not replacing the car payment, you're making sure the car payment isn't the only conversation between your paycheck and the future. Here's the operational sequence if you've never done it. Same Saturday afternoon you'd be at the dealership. 2 browser tabs open instead of 1. First tab, Vanguard, Fidelity, or Schwab. 15 minutes to open the brokerage account. Routing number, driver's license, and email. Same 15 minutes you'd spend on the financing paperwork at the dealership. Second step, buy a single share of a total market index fund. The order takes about 10 seconds to place. Then set the recurring buy. Most platforms call it auto invest. Pick the day after payday. Pick the amount. Hit confirm. Now there are two autopays on the calendar. One pays the vehicle, the other pays the future. Both happen the same week. Neither one asks for a decision after the first Saturday. Take those three figures, the car loan payment, the 10-year ownership cost, the alternative portfolio. Add them up the way the asset sheet adds them up at 35. The car can be on the sheet. The portfolio has to be on the sheet too. The asset sheet doesn't remember the dealership. It remembers the cadence. 2 mornings, 10 years from the Saturday March, same Tuesday, same 8 in the morning, first parking lot. The performance coupe is still there. It's a 2015 now, 76,000 miles. A chip in the paint on the rear quarter, a value somewhere around $14,000 in a market that's already moved past it. The auto loan that funded it was paid off 4 years ago. The next one is 2 years in. The monthly is $1,100 now. The car is different, the cadence isn't. Second parking lot, same Tuesday, same 8 in the morning. A 2018 used compact sedan, paid for in cash 3 years ago. Nothing notable about it. The driver took the same paycheck, the same Saturday at 25, and routed the $1,400 auto pay into a total market index fund instead. By 35, the account reads somewhere around $265,000. The sedan was never the dream. The account wasn't the dream either. The dream was the choice the 25-year-old was supposed to make about which line would be on the asset sheet at 35. The car was never the choice. The autopay was.